So you're an entrepreneurial mom, a coach, a believer in business, and you've been praying to God. You've been asking him to bless your business, and you've been wanting him to like pour out and overflow in your business. But I do have a question for you this morning. I want to know if God was to bless your business overnight. Say for instance, one of your pieces of content went viral and you had like millions of views and millions of people inquiring on your services, would you be ready? Would you pass the test? Would you be able to sustain the clients that you're praying for? In today's episode of the Daily Dose, I'm going to be breaking down the entrepreneurial test and really how to ensure that you are actually ready for the blessing that you're praying for. Like, would you be able to pass the test? And so the reason why we're even speaking about this is because in my alone time this morning with the Lord, in my quiet time, I was just asking him and seeking him and just asking him like, okay, what should we talk about today on the Daily Dose? And for those of you who are not familiar, the Daily Dose is an acronym for Divine Overflow of Spirit-Led Empowerment. And so in the morning time, I sit with God and I just ask him like, Lord, what should I share today? And so he just shares with me what to share. And I'm just the vessel here. That's it. I'm just the vessel in the Daily Dose. And so this morning I was just remembering like, the Lord just reminded me like, okay, right now, you guys pray for me, please. I'm literally in the midst of teaching my teenager how to drive. And every time I'm in the car in the passenger seat with him, it's like life and death. And he's doing an amazing job, but it's still nerve-wracking for me because it's like I'm teaching him how to do something completely new. So I've been driving for over, 20 years now. And a lot of the things that is just second nature for me, it's like, it's brand new for him. And so it's like, we're training. And I'm just like, every left turn, it's like my heart's racing. Every time he's braking, it's like whiplash. Okay. It's like, he's either not braking hard enough or he's braking too hard. It's just, anyway. And this morning, the Lord was just like, a lot of my children, they wouldn't pass that test of entrepreneurship, right? They wouldn't pass that test. Like my son is nowhere ready for the driver's test. And so like the Lord was just bringing that to my awareness. Like you wouldn't pass. If you were to have an influx of clients reaching out to you today, your business is not sustainable to be able to handle them. And so we're going to be breaking down, I have 5 points on how you can actually make sure that you would actually pass the test of entrepreneurship. All right. So for those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Janel Ranée. I am your faithologist. I'm a certified life and business mindset coach, and I help entrepreneurial moms, coaches, aspiring coaches to grow their business using biblical principles so that they can create that life of freedom, flexibility, and fulfillment, to be present with their children and really just build a business that is in alignment with their desired lifestyle. And so I've been able to do that, and I'm just so privileged and honored to be able to help other women, dozens of women, to do the same. And so we're going to jump into what I have for you today. Okay. And so the first thing that you have to make sure that you have in your business to be able to manage and be able to serve God's people, because God wants to bless your business. He wants to send you clients, but he's not going to send you his people if you're not ready for them, right? He's not going to send you his children if your business isn't designed to be able to really give them the transformation that they're seeking, right? And so the first one is clarity. Do you have clarity in how you are taking your clients from point A to point B, right? How are you helping them? How are you serving them? Do you have a coaching container, like to get them from point A to point B, a step-by-step process? Do you have clarity in that? So with my son driving, he has to understand clear instructions. He has to understand the rules of the road. He has to understand the guidelines, the step-by-step guidelines of how to get from point A to point B, right? He can't drive in oncoming traffic. There's certain steps, there's certain guidelines that are set out as a driver. And it's the same thing with entrepreneurship. For your business, how are you getting your clients from point A to point B? How are you allowing them to see transformation? Is there clarity with that? for yourself, because if you don't have clarity in that, your clients will then not have clarity. And if they don't have clarity, they don't have trust. And if they don't have trust in you, they're not going to buy from you, right? The next thing you want to make sure that you have is commitment. Commitment not only to your clients, but to yourself. As an entrepreneur, it's really important that you have self-dedication, self-leadership, self-trust. If you can't lead yourself, you cannot lead anyone else from point A to point B. You cannot lead them from their pain to their pleasure. You cannot lead them from their problem to having their problem solved if you can't lead yourself. And so it really comes with a level of commitment to not only serving your clients, but also showing up in integrity and making sure that you, even when no one else is looking, you are being self-led, right? Obviously, under the will of your Heavenly Father, but also just having that discipline, having that self-discipline, having that self-leadership to be able to steward what God is calling you to do well, right? God is watching, and you see you, and God sees you. And so the more you show up for yourself, the more you trust yourself, and the more God can trust you as well. All right. So just have that commitment to the assignment that God has for you as an entrepreneur, to serve his people. And then when you do that, when you're committed to the journey and you're committed to showing up and self-discipline, you will then develop confidence. There's going to be a level of confidence that comes with self-leadership, with you being able to trust yourself. You're not going to develop confidence if you don't trust yourself, right? If you're continuing to break your own promises to yourself, even though no one else knows it, but you know it. You know it. You told yourself that you were going to create content today. You told yourself that you were going to market and picture your offer in your stories. You told yourself you were going to film that YouTube video. You told yourself you were going to go live. But then your feelings got involved and you said, nope, I don't feel like doing it. So you didn't do it, right? And yes, obviously have grace. Yesterday, I did a video called No More Shame. So you're not shaming yourself, but you also want to build that self-discipline, that self-leadership to show up for yourself, be committed. And this is what leads to confidence, right? This is what leads to your confidence. It's through, just like my son driving, it's through repetition, it's through practice, it's through persevering, it's showing up even when you're scared, right? It's having the courage. It's the courage that leads to confidence. It's the courage to continue to show up, continuing to show up for yourself and leading to that confidence. And the more you have the courage to try and try again, even when you fail, oh my gosh, you've got to watch yesterday's episode, No More Shame. Even when you fail, like, as long as you're having the courage to try again, that's what's going to build the competence, and that is what's going to build your confidence. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Bless up yourself too. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay, so that's what builds confidence. And so the fourth thing that you want to make sure that you have is conviction. And so you want to make sure you have conviction in your offer. And this is what I help my clients to do, because when we actually build out your signature framework, we use your own life experience, your own trials that you've been able to triumph over, some things that you've overcome in your life. So it's your own purpose work. It's your own purpose-driven business that we're establishing here. And so because you can speak from experience, and you're not just selling something that sounds good, or you're not just selling something that you're just doing for money, right? Just to make money. You're selling something that you know will bring transformation to other people's lives, because it's been able to bring that transformation to your own. When you have that, you can now show up with conviction. When you're speaking about your offer, when you're marketing your offer, you have such a level of conviction now, because it's like you're not just selling just some random stuff. And this is why oftentimes, like the MLMs or the MRR, like the master resale rights, like people don't succeed. Some people do succeed, but a lot of people don't. They jump into it and they don't succeed because it's not their own purpose work. there's no conviction behind it. Sometimes they don't even watch the course. They didn't even go through the course and they're trying to sell it to someone else, right? And so there's no conviction. And so this is why their offer isn't selling, because no matter what, like you can, whatever it is that you're saying, like you can say whatever you want to say, you can try to sell something, but it's, people feel your energy. They feel your belief behind it. And it's really important to have conviction as an entrepreneur in the offer that you have. All right. In the transformation that you can actually bring to your clients. All right. So conviction. You also want to have like an origin story, right? Or your solution discovery story, your messaging. Like, how did you discover your solution? How did you discover your framework? And so this is another thing that I help my clients to develop inside of their coaching business, is like I help them to create their signature framework and to develop their origin story, their solution discovery story, so that it bridges the gap for others. They can see like, okay, yeah, she started from point A and she's over in point B, and her offer is the bridge that got her there, right? And so when you are able to articulate your story with conviction, it allows people to then believe in your offer because you believe in your offer. So sales is really just a transfer of belief, right? And so you're literally, because you believe so much in your offer, other people will believe. And so just yesterday, my son and I, like I said, he's learning to drive. And so he's driving, he's about to make a left turn. And there was enough space there for him to turn. Like he had enough time to turn, to make that left turn. But he was honest and he was transparent. He's like, I'm scared. I don't want to turn yet. And he's like, I'm just going to wait for the car to go by. And I'm like, perfect. Don't turn. If you're not comfortable with it, don't turn. And I'm just so happy that he was honest and transparent and he didn't force the turn. You know, like even though like me with 20 years of driving experience, I know he had enough space. He had enough time to make that left turn. But he, as a beginner, as a novice driver, he didn't feel confident in himself to make that turn. And he didn't try to do it just to do it, right? And oftentimes people are just out here trying to sell just to sell, but there's no conviction behind it. And so you have to be honest with yourself and honest with what you have to offer. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. So that is conviction. And so the last thing that you want to make sure that you have so that you can pass the test of entrepreneurship and make sure that, you know, you're ready for God to bless your business is CRM, right? CRM, customer relationship management. And so you want God to bless your business. You're praying for God to bless your business, but you have no system set up. You have no strategy. Yes, it's important to have belief. I teach my clients to have both. You have to have the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set. If you don't have a CRM, if you don't have a system to really be able, like if God was to bless your business today, like I said earlier, and you were to get 1 million views, do you have a system set up to be able to manage your clients? If you don't have that set up subconsciously, even though you're showing up, because you don't have the back end set up yet, you're like, like subconsciously you're like, oh, I want clients, but then I don't want clients. And it's like this confliction, right? There's this dissonance because it's like, and people can feel that. People can feel that dissonance. Like they can feel like you're off. And if you don't have something set up on the back end to at least be able to bring in your clients top of funnel, at least be able to take an email address from them and be able to nurture them through the middle of funnel and sell to them, you know, throughout the bottom of funnel. Like if you don't have just a simplified sales funnel set up, then, you know, you're not ready. God is not going to just pour out. Oh, thank you. Yes. I often speak through analogies because it's like God speaks to us through everything. So my son, yeah, he's a teenager. He's learning to drive. And it's like this morning while sitting with the Lord, I'm like, all right, God, if I was just like, he's like, if my people were to actually get the blessing that they're praying for, they would not be able to pass the test. Just like my son, he's not ready to pass that driver's test yet. And so make sure that you have your CRM set up. You want a simplified sales system to be able to seamlessly acquire your clients, right? To take from top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. You want to be able to have a system where you're able to generate leads, like a content strategy for the top of funnel so that you're able to generate leads and be able to then nurture them and then sell to them, right? Because that is why you're in business. And so I just want to encourage you to actually have these 5 things. All right. So we're going to just do a quick recap. First, you need clarity on what you're offering, clarity on the transformation that you're offering your clients. And I help you to do that with a simplified, with a signature framework, right? And so you need clarity. If you don't have clarity, your audience won't have clarity. You need commitment. This is self-leadership. As a coach, as an entrepreneur, as a believer in business, you have to be able to lead yourself. You can't lead others if you're not leading yourself first. All right. And then through this self-leadership and discipline, you will then begin to have confidence. Confidence sells. Like, you have to have confidence in what it is that you're offering. And if people see that you don't have confidence in your offer, they're not going to have confidence in your offer. Same with conviction. You have to have conviction and belief behind what you're offering, belief behind your message, belief in what you're saying, right? Because it's like, if you don't feel comfortable, or if you don't have full belief in what you're offering, you're not going to show up and sell with conviction. And then lastly, you want CRM, right? Customer relationship management. You want a system, a simplified system, nothing complex at all, because complexity fails and simplicity scales. So you want a system and a strategy that you can have to nurture your clients, right? From top of funnel all the way down to bottom of funnel. And so if you're interested in learning more on how to actually set up your system, how to set up your business, how to create your signature, your framework, create your offer, I want to invite you to just comment coach, and I'm going to send you instant access to the Call to Coach workshop, where I break down how you can create your signature offer, because you need 3 steps in any business. There are 3 things you need. You need a solid offer, you need a compelling offer, you need converting marketing, and you need sales. You need a sales funnel. All right. And so if you don't have consistent sales in your business, no matter what your business is, it's not going to grow. And so you need to have all 3. And so if you comment coach, I'll give you instant access to the Call to Coach workshop if you feel like God is calling you to coaching, but you just don't have those things in place yet. This is the workshop for you. You get instant access. And if you don't know if you're called to coaching, you have no idea what your purpose is, what your kingdom assignment is, I want to invite you to just comment assignment, and you can join my Assignment Accelerator Academy. It's only $7 for the first month. Within 30 days, you'll be able to not only discover what your God-given purpose is, but also create a business that's in alignment with your purpose. And this is all done in 30 days, and it's only $7 for the very first month. So yeah, that's what I have for you on today's episode of the Daily Dose, Divine Overflow of Spirit-Led Empowerment. Let me know if there's any questions at all. If not, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here, and I'm going to tell you, just as God told me, put one foot in front of the other, step out on faith, and trust God for the next step. Like I mentioned before, if you are a business owner and you've been struggling with shame, I did a powerful episode yesterday talking about no more shame. So go ahead and check it out here. I'm going to link it right here, and just be sure to check it out. Okay. Alrighty. I'll see you guys mañana for another episode of the Daily Dose. Thanks for joining. Bye.